than others, but we are aiming for a general solution. In fact, if you created a sort of a randomly generated alternate Earth, our system would still work. Like literally, like you had some sort of computer-generated Earth that obeyed roughly the same rules as current Earth. Our system is sufficiently generalized that it would work in a computer-generated alternate Earth. So, yeah.
What? What did you say?
Anyway.
No, what?
So.
I didn't, what is it exactly?
So, I'm Gary Black, managing partner of the Future Fund. Tesla's our largest position. Probably the thing we worry about most, it's not PR, but it's
high-level ceramic is a dynamic.
Key man, how does the board think about your succession, and especially when you have, a judge is going to decide in a couple months whether or not you have to take over Twitter? How would you split your time?
Well, I think Tesla is definitely gathering a lot of momentum, and we have a very exciting product roadmap that will last a long time. So now, obviously, execution against that roadmap is difficult because these are not simple products. They're not copies of what anyone else is doing. They're new things. But I intend to stay with Tesla as long as I can be useful.
Decentralized AI, why not?
I can be most useful, I think, on the product design and manufacturing. So basically factory design, product design, and sort of manufacturing optimization. So,
Wow.
Went back to my home planet, maybe.
What's your home planet?
But no, I think it's a good question, and to be frank, I don't have an easy answer. I'm working as hard as I can, and I'm very excited about the future of the company.
I can hear it through my bones.
I obviously have to be a little careful about what I say about Twitter, because there's this like lawsuit and stuff. So sometimes people get bent out of shape.
Me going to the brand new home. River calling.
I do use Twitter a lot, so it's not like I'm like going around trying to acquire companies or something. I'm not like the hedge fund. I'm not a hedge fund.
I can feel it in my bones.
In fact, the only two publicly traded securities I own are Tesla and Twitter. That's it. So, and I think in the case of Twitter, since I use it a lot,
I use it a lot. Too many links. Always. Too many links. Too overwhelming.
Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Peter Robinson and this is the Ethereum Engineer.
Take my people
don't have to have Twitter for that, but it's like I said, it's probably at least a 3-year accelerant. And I think it's something that will be very useful to the world.
To the brand new home. I can hear. I didn't put this up.
Johnny,
I
and
swear.
with the projected release of the robo-taxi coming in the year,
Who put this up?
would it be looked at as the Boring Company, would it be used to get regulation for full self-driving, and would it be a good venue for the robo-taxi? Also, my little brother Zane says hi, owns all Tesla Hot Wheels.
Okay, cool. Well, I said hi to him back. So, yeah, the Boring Company is making good progress, actually. You know, for the longest time, people, like I'd give a talk somewhere and people say, what are opportunities you know about? I was like, tunnels. And they'd be like, for 5 years, I said, if somebody trains, they
Guys, please help me with my CPU. Is it CPU? I don't even have a problem like that.
do intersect the
Apple
you know,
computer.
go through towns and
Why you
neighborhoods
have
and
this problem?
chop people's property in half, and they're very loud. So,
Can't keep up with my speed.
but I want to be
of
clear, I'm
thinking.
pro-train.
My computers can't keep up with my speed of thinking and operations. It's not advanced. Do we live in 2023 or not? Or I have a cheap computer. I do have a cheap computer, but it's not as cheap if you think about it. Ay. Video playback interrupted. I can hear it in my bones. I wonder if I ever come back to these videos and actually watch them. Anyone? Will you watch them for me and you know, tell me what I missed? Decentralized IDs. Guess we should stop closing. Stop opening windows and start. I guess I'm just gonna do this, right? Take my people with me. Together we are going to the brand new home. Far across the river. Calling me to heaven. We can keep it on. I can hear it in your bones. Guys, I only slept like 2 hours this past 48 hours. No, 24. I can hear you calling me for help. Guys, why do we have to wait for so long? Why is it so hard? Stream recording is not available anymore, that's why. Duh. Streamed 3 hours ago, so basically they removed the stream, is that correct? Yeah, 3 hours 39 minutes. I'm sad. I would like to see it. What will happen to Bitcoin? Future of crypto. I missed it.
The factory is just an enormous cybernetic collective of humans and machines and software. And the better the software is, the better that cybernetic collective works. I don't think other OEMs think like that. But that's what it is. So, there's a lot of talk of competition among electric vehicles, but really, the EVs are electric vehicles taking market share from gasoline cars. So, yeah. So, and from a Tesla standpoint, we obviously welcome this, and we're very excited to see that the big car companies are embracing electric vehicles. If you were to rewind their press releases to 5 years ago, that was not the case. They were, not saying nice things about electric vehicles five years ago. But now, I believe almost every major car company in the world has embraced electrification and agrees that it is the right path. And this is really what we set out to do with Tesla. It was not to get maximum market share or anything. It was really try to show the auto industry that it was possible to go electric, and that if you made compelling electric cars, people would buy them. And that's what's happened. And I think that's really profound. So, yeah. Also, when our competitors advertise for electric vehicles, every time they do that, our sales go up. It's pretty funny. Yeah. But we do, we have open sourced all our patents, so they can use our patents for free, and so we're, helping out, and I think it's sort of a mutual prosperity thing, and it's good. So, yeah, so Model Y. You don't want, definitely don't want to count chickens until they're hatched, but I think we're tracking to have Model Y be the highest selling vehicle by revenue this year, and the highest by unit volume next year. So. Still a lot of work to do. Like these factories don't just magically work. So still a lot of work to do in Berlin and here in Austin to spool up these 2 gigafactories. And we've got different supply chains, and so it's always, there's a host of problems. None of the problems are individually all that difficult, but there's like 10,000 of them. So the rate of production is like, how fast can you solve the 10,000 problems, essentially? And we're solving them pretty fast, but a lot of work to do. And we might be able to announce another factory location later this year. Where should we? Okay, where should we build it?
That laugh was an evil laugh.
Okay, we got a lot of Canadas. No, I'm half Canadian, so maybe I should, you know. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, ultimately we'll end up building, I don't know, probably at least 10 or 12 gigafactories. And there will be really gigafactories, like output, you know, aiming for average output of like 1.5 to 2 million units per factory, which is enormous. So, and our Fremont factory in California is already the highest output factory in North America. So. Sorry? Well, I think we'll have a friendly competition between Texas, California, Berlin. Shanghai is hard to beat, I have to say. Shanghai is our Shanghai team is just awesome. So they're yeah, anyway. Great team there. So, with respect to, you know, sometimes we get this sort of, you know, these bogus attacks of like EVs are somehow worse than gasoline cars, which is not true. The average life cycle emissions of an EV are dramatically lower than that of a gasoline car. I'm kind of telling you things you already know. But you know, every now and again you think surely this nonsense has been put to bed, but it pops up again. But it's obviously an electric car is just dramatically lower CO2 lifetime than a gasoline car. So anyway, that's kind of obvious. Now this is a thing that I think is super cool. It is more energy than was used to manufacture all of our cars and charge all of our cars at superchargers and at home.
Is that a good thing? What did it say? It's funny how I don't even follow. Somehow I'm not as interested in things regarding electric cars as much as I'm interested in free energy.
I mean, this is like...
Got it? Clear?
And I mean, the mission of Tesla is to accelerate sustainability, and amazing, you know, more energy.
Yo, you don't mind I'm gonna put your voice out there, right?
Hi there, how are you? I just wanted to know how you are.
Energy produced then was used in making the car and charging them over billions of miles. So, and we're going to keep obviously increasing our solar activity and vehicles, and try to keep these on par. The three elements of a sustainable energy future are sustainable energy production, primarily with solar and wind, and then stationary battery packs to store the sustainable energy because of its wind and solar are intermittent, and then electric transport. And if you have those three pillars, you have a fully sustainable future. And yeah, so yeah. So.
I saw this report.
And obviously, battery packs are very recyclable. You can think of it like high-grade ore. Do you want to, you know, crunch up a bunch of rocks or crunch up a battery pack, which is like super high-grade ore? So it's a no-brainer to recycle battery packs. And we are already recycling. I should point this out. So
oh yeah, Nick
what's happening. We're
is part
already
of this
recycling.
I don't know if
at
he's
over
still
50 a week
there. I was like, wait,
in Nevada.
Nick.
So
I
Tesla
missed the fun.
battery recycling is already underway, has been underway, and is scaling up. Now cars are lasting quite a long time, so there's not that many batteries to actually recycle because you kind of have to typically wait like 12 years or something, like quite a long time before the battery actually is no longer useful. Sometimes 15 years. So recycling starts off small, but then it becomes very significant long term.
How is this a representation of circular
Some
fashion?
factory footage, obviously. Just 50 packs a week, yeah. So Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, there's actually just not that many packs to recycle because there's not, the vast majority of them are still in use. Sorry? Oh, yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Where is that thing? So Master Plan 3 is going to be fundamentally about scaling. Just looking at the overall problem from a global macroeconomic standpoint and saying, what are all the things that are needed to achieve a fully sustainable economy? Because I think a lot of people don't know. And really, like, what tonnage of
Modem Online, how are we
lithium,
doing?
of cathode, anode, separator electrolyte, electronics, what are all the things that are needed, what are all the things that need to be done in order to transition to a fully sustainable global economy?
This
Which I think,
platform is
the
not
sooner we do
good
that, the
platform
better
right now.
for the planet.
Spain.
And I think just articulating that.
The thing is, okay, if you're building something fashion related and if you're really serious about it, don't launch something that is not ready yet to be shown to people. Like, make it more private, like, don't launch a shitty product and pretend that you're luxury.
And they think there's no chance and the Earth is doomed. It's like, it's not doomed. Okay, it's yeah. Yeah. Earth can and will be saved. Yeah.
Yeah, Musk. That's right.
So, in addition to battery advancements and electronics advancements and AI, we've also done a lot to simplify the structure of cars, to make it easier to manufacture. And one of the things we've done is create the largest castings that have ever been done. And they're very complex castings. And so we're able to take 171 pieces of metal and go from 171 pieces to 2. And in the process, make it lighter, stiffer, with better ride handling, better noise, vibration, harshness, better sealing against water. So it's really better in every way. And yeah, and we're going to keep enhancing the casting. So this is a testament to our materials team and to we have a lot of casting technology. So we're really rethinking the whole way in which a car is made. And it's a gigantic improvement. We have at this point going from say Model S or even Model 3, we're at about 30% of the robots used for Model 3 for a current Model Y. So, yeah. We've also improved the layout of the factory. So the factory is sort of a single, close to a single monolithic factory with a very straightforward flow. Fremont, we do a lot in Fremont, but the flow is complex and it's not an easy flow. So we're really rethinking the factory. And I think the really long-term sustainable advantage of Tesla will be manufacturing. I mentioned this before, but obviously everyone will have electric cars. All manufacturers have electric cars. And eventually, it'll probably take longer than they think, but eventually all cars will be self-driving. And the thing that will be hardest to replicate is Tesla's manufacturing technology. So this is actually very important from a long-term standpoint.
Lablako, you have a name that doesn't match a frequency or something that is a winning thing, and I like you a lot.
Companies, especially if the companies are technology
Those
companies.
names, you guys, those names.
I recommend looking at where the smartest engineers want to work. This is wherever the smartest engineers want to work.
Patrick.
That's going to be that technology company is going to be the one that is likely to succeed.
It's a good point.
Just
Very
like
good
it's
point.
a pro sports team, where are the ace players going? Okay, probably that team will win.
Totally.
So we put a lot of effort into ensuring that the best engineers in the world want to work at Tesla. And frankly, sometimes Tesla's number one, sometimes SpaceX number one. But so this is just like last year. And we do actually, for those curious and maybe want to work at either SpaceX or Tesla, we do allow people to move from one company to the other if they would like. So if you
Cute.
want to spend a bit of time working on electric vehicles, a bit of time spending working on rockets, you can. That's cool. We support that. So yeah.
Good names. Very good names, you guys. Names are good.
And we've also made a lot of improvement with factory safety. So I think we believe we now have the best factory safety in the industry, and so we're excited to have very good safety and getting better. So yeah.
Good times.
And a bunch of this is driven by just encouraging people within the factory to submit ideas for safety improvement. And we've passed our goal of 3 suggestions per employee in, this year. And this really is a game changer for improving safety. So, and yeah. You don't have to clap after every slide unless you really want to, but so there's a lot of interest in working at Tesla with 3 million job applications last year. So, sorry? Yeah, it's true. So a lot of interest in working at Tesla. Now, some people may occasionally have encountered a supercharger that didn't work, but in general, the uptime of our superchargers is extremely good. And we just try to make it super smooth, and because our superchargers are always connected, like the car is always connected, our feedback loop for fixing a supercharger is very quick. And obviously, we keep upgrading the supercharger capability. We're now at version 3. We'll start rolling out version 4, I don't know, maybe next year. So the superchargers get better and better, and you know, who knows, yeah. Actually, I don't want to give away but let's just say that there's some cool stuff happening on the supercharging front. So, Alaska, yes. All right. Well, we're basically doubling our supercharger count every year. So, if there isn't a supercharger in some place that you think is important, it probably will be there soon. So, we've also made a lot of progress on safety. So our cars are already the safest in the industry. So we have the lowest probability of injury of any cars ever tested by the U.S. government, and we update this in real time. So because our cars are connected, this is a big difference. All the other cars, with rare exception, are not connected. So the manufacturers don't really know what happened in a crash. But in the case of Tesla, we are able to look at crashes and see how can we improve the safety and look at the crashes, improve the crash structure. Also, we improve how the seat belts tension and how the airbags deploy. So in these updates, if we figure out, oh, there's a slightly better way to deploy the airbags to improve the safety in a crash, we'll actually do an over-the-air update to improve the way that the airbags deploy or the way that the seatbelt pre-tensions. And we're now starting to include our Tesla Autopilot AI to be able to see if a crash is about to occur, and if it sees that a crash is about to occur with 99+% probability, then it will activate the seatbelt pretensioners and deploy the airbags, as
Wow.
opposed to
Really
what the vast
impressive.
majority of cars do is the
WOF.
vast majority of cars are only able to deploy airbags when the crash is happening. And so that makes the airbag deployment a lot more violent, but if you can anticipate the crash, the airbag deployment can be much better than just impact. So, thanks. We're also seeing FSD beta grow very rapidly. And this is definitely going to go very exponential in miles driven. So we're now at over 40 million miles. And
I saw this report.
I suspect by the end of this year, we'll be, I don't know, well over 100 million miles. So, and we're still tracking very much to have widespread deployment of FSD beta this year in North America. So yeah. So I should say, if basically FSD beta will be available to anyone who requests it by the end of this year. So. So, AI Day Part 2, I think people were blown away, but that's at the end of next month, so we'll leave that, except there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff. So, I'm sort of surprised that,
How's edited doing?
you know, people, or at least like analysts out there, are not really understanding the importance of the Optimus robot. My guess is Optimus will be more valuable than the car, than long term. And in fact, it'll, I think, turn the whole notion of what's an economy on its head. You know, the point at which you have no shortage of labor, you know, an economy is GDP per capita. If you do not have a capita constraint, then the economy just can be arbitrarily huge. So, yeah, it's sort of crazy. Anyway, and thank you for voting. So, your vote matters, and it's great to have direct contact with individual shareholders, and thank you for voting to support our proposals. So the next decade.
It's like the future of the internet. Not available. Not available. The page is not available.
Huh, I wonder how many cars we'll have in 10 years. Yeah, 10 years ago, we had less than 3,000 cars. Now we've made 3 million. 300 million. I'd say 100 million is pretty doable. So, I'd be surprised if it's not over 100 million in 10 years. And then many other products, some of which you've heard about, some of which you have not. So.
Secrets, Ellen, secrets.
Blurt it out. All right. So we've got some questions from the internet that were voted to the top. So I'll answer these questions, and then we'll take just questions from the audience. So one of the questions is, how does Tesla intend to utilize cash in the coming years? Will we increase CapEx? Well, I guess you can read the question. Share buybacks, dividends, or acquisitions? Well, it's interesting, like, Tesla has actually done very few acquisitions. Apart from the Solar City acquisition, it was the only really big acquisition we did, and then the next largest would be Tesla Groman. But Tesla's actually used a remarkably small amount of its equity to do acquisitions compared to other companies. The vast majority of our growth, basically 90% of our growth, has been organic, which I think is actually a really good thing. But if we do see interesting companies, we will acquire them, but it's quite rare for us to acquire a company. But we are interested in companies that are very good at manufacturing automation, software, AI, manufacturing technology in general, that kind of thing. We certainly will increase CapEx. We're actually spending we're spending CapEx money and R&D money as fast as we can do so without wasting it. So this is not a constraint. If I spend it any faster, we'd just be wasting money. So we're cranking hard on CapEx and R&D. Depending on what our future cash flow looks like, I think a sort of share buyback is possible. I wouldn't want to commit to that, but let's just make sure that there's not some force majeure event somewhere.
Like what?
I think we want to make sure we have plenty of capital, and that future cash flow is looking very solid, and the world is relatively stable. And then I think share buyback is on the table. Yeah. So how many factories are necessary to achieve 20 million vehicles? I think probably roughly a dozen. So we're aiming for 1.5 to 2 million units per factory. Now, our factory in California, we're just running out of room, so it's hard to get more than maybe 700 or 800,000 vehicles a year out of there. But most places will be aiming for 1.5 to 2. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot the edited.
A dozen sites. Although we are aiming for giant monolithic buildings. Cybertruck pricing, it was unveiled in 2019, and the reservation was $99. So, a lot has changed since then. So the specs and the pricing will be different. I hate to sort of give a little bit of bad news, but I think there's no way to sort of haven't anticipated quite the inflation that we've seen and the various issues. But what I can say is that the Cybertruck will be one hell of a product, and it's going to be like a damn fine machine. So, yeah. And we're tracking to be in production middle of next year from this factory. So we're going to be installing the production equipment, tooling and all, starting the next couple of months. We'll begin the installation. So aiming to be in volume production middle of next year. So. Now, what could possibly go wrong in answering this question? Oh man. All right. So, I should just pass. Let me just say that I hope for peace and respect. Fair enough.
Was it? You can hear it. His brain and comp. I would love to hear the points where he's talking about the future of crypto, somehow, please. from anyone?
Hi, Elon. Thanks for the meeting. I became a Marine because I want to help protect your future base on Mars.
The tunnel and go to the convention center. Fair enough. To make 1.5 million cars this year. So it's not a constraint on output.
Yeah, the Tesla robot is.
A bit too much about short-term things which are clearly just just bumps in the road type of thing, where there might be a supplier shortage or some shutdown in some part of the world. But really, those things are clearly just kind of one-off items and don't really matter for the long term. The sort of the trend.
Fabian was
Like
talking
looking
about
at the sort of
DID like 3 years
cumulative output and
ago.
cumulative
Fabian,
miles driven, and you can see that
early
cumulative output
gamers.
is a very clean exponential. And so I guess sometimes people fret a little bit too much about this quarter or that quarter, but if you're a shareholder, a company is really like the net present value of future cash flows. And so what is one quarter is not really a big deal. I think if you see people panicking, then instead of saying, "Oh man, my stock's gone down," there's a buying opportunity. So.
Hi, Elon. Thanks for the meeting. I became a Marine because I want to help protect your future base on Mars. My friends and I are trained, and we support the mission. Would you?
Locations will offer regulatory approval sooner than others, but we are aiming for a general solution. In fact, if you created a sort of a randomly generated alternate Earth, our system would still work. Like literally, like you had some sort of computer generated Earth that obeyed roughly the same rules as current Earth.
We don't need that.
Most of our commodities, most of the things that go into a Tesla, not all, but I don't know, more than half, the prices are trending down in 6 months, 6 months from now. Now this could change, obviously, but the trend is down, which suggests that we are past peak inflation. Now making macroeconomic prognostications is a recipe for disaster, but my guess is that we're past peak inflation, and that we will have a recession. I think it will be a relatively mild recession, sort of, but I'm just guessing here. This is total, it's a mild recession for, I don't know, 18 months or something like that. It would be my best guess right now. We don't have fundamental capital misallocations in the U.S. as we have had in the past, like leading up to 2008, where we were building primary housing units at twice the rate of household formation, which obviously doesn't make sense. And there were a lot of companies that were over-levered. The leverage or debt that companies have right now is relatively low. So, yeah, I would say probably, mild, moderate recession, maybe 18 months-ish. And I think inflation is going to drop rapidly. That's my guess. I don't know, what do you guys think? Like, sound about right? Okay, great. All right, cool.
Yeah, the Tesla robot essentially changing the economy. Like, how can we base an economy on automation, AI? With the full self-driving that's being implemented, you're gonna have a full fleet of vehicles that can drive themselves. You'll have these robots that can go and get into your vehicle and place things. Will you be moving to a rental model, or how will you base a Tesla model on selling cars whenever these cars are fully automated, can drive wherever they would like, and hopefully would be applicable to having multiple people use the vehicle instead of just one person?
Yeah, so it's interesting to think about an autonomous car because, you know, when you drive around, look at how many cars are parked. Like, they're just parking lots full of cars everywhere because cars need a driver, and so most of the time they're doing nothing. You know, typically a passenger car is going to be like 12 hours a week or something like that of usage. Now, if it's autonomous, maybe it can get to 50 or 60 hours of usage. Then that's sort of, you know, 4 or 5 fold improvement in the utility of a car. But the interesting thing is that the car still costs the same. So in that scenario, at least for some period of time, the effective gross margin on an autonomous car is kind of boggles the mind. So in terms of how the cars will be operated, I mean, I think it would be, you know, just you'd have the option of owning a car, using a car just occasionally when you need it, like an auto Uber or something like that. And there would be people, and then an owner of a car could decide that they want to use their car or they want to add or subtract it to the fleet. So I think it would end up being some kind of combination of like Airbnb and Uber or something like that. You know, so sometimes you can go all the way from owning it to renting it sometimes.
Yeah, it's like car
to renting it a
rental,
lot,
car
to
sharing,
completely renting
and
it.
travels industry combined.
But the
Same with the
utility
Web3 housing that
of
I'm
the car will
promoting.
just be mind-blowingly great. And then,
Share your stuff, please.
like I
Just
said, Optimus
share your stuff.
will really bring the
Trust.
future to now.
Decentralize
So-
your ownership. Decentralize your possessions.
Yeah, maybe you could rent Optimus out hourly. Yeah. I mean, assuming we get all these things, we do all these things, I think probably Tesla will be the most valuable company in the world. So,
Elon, hi. We all know how the media treats you.
so well.
Yeah. So I don't have a question for you today. I just want to say on behalf of my 6-year-old at home, Kyler Scott, that's watching right now, who thinks you're awesome as well, thank you for making the world a better place.
You're welcome.
Thank
You
you.
want to join us? Guys, this is enough links for us for YouTube. Deep dive.
Well, love you guys too. I mean, I just like to say thank you for helping make it happen. Yeah, because without you, without the early adopters of electric vehicles and sort of full self-driving, Tesla would not be where it is today. So thank you for your support. Sure.
What a presentation. Thank you, Tesla team. It's an honor to be a stockholder. Elon, I brought you the final checkpoint for SpaceX, a mini moon. Maybe little X can play with it. My name is David Guajardo. I'm a former Brownsville resident. My first suggestion is to add a new steering mode option where the driver can select lazy mode and have the software accommodate between comfort, standard, and sport modes, depending on the speed the car is going. This will increase handling and safety. Second, when disengaging autopilot with the wheel, the accelerator stays on. Please fix it. Last one, weeks ago, talking to Mr. Sam Patel at Starbase, I told him that the team should add a tab in the SpaceX website and disclose what type of skills and preparation are going to be needed from
I think
us
that's it.
to accomplish the greatest
That's about
adventure ever in human history, going to Mars.
All right, well,
We don't
thanks for
need to go to Mars. Mars can come our way if we'd like. Interdimensional travels is a thing. If you want to travel to Mars, go to Mars. Don't need to burn fuel and please, guys, like think about things spiritually.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right?
I think actually the questions and ideas posed by retail investors, like small retail investors, like I think many of you in the audience, are actually the most insightful. And I find it remarkable that essentially amateur, like normal everyday people actually understand Tesla better than the analysts. I mean, how much you must see this as like, it's like.
Are we going to talk about blockchain or not? Musk.
It's a group of people gathered together to make products and services. And if those products and services are great, it's a valuable and useful company. If they're not, it's not. And so really to understand a company, you must use its products. And if you think the products are great, then the company's great. That's it. That's how it is. And so I think, ironically, a lot of the people that sort of professional analysts don't drive Teslas. So like, well, okay, maybe you should. Yeah, cool. I mean, we aim to make Tesla the most amount of fun you can have in a car, So, yeah. So let's see. So I think that there are a lot of really good and insightful ideas that I see on the internet, on Twitter and whatnot. And oh yeah, Twitter. So, thing where there might be a supplier shortage or some, but really those things are clearly just kind of one-off items and don't really matter for the long term. The sort of the trend, if you like looking at the sort of cumulative output and cumulative miles driven. And you can see that cumulative output is a very clean exponential. And so what is 1 quarter is not really a big deal. I think if you see people panicking, then.
Okay. It's funny how it's not the first time I'm
Elon,
watching
thanks for
these.
the meeting. I became a Marine because I want to help protect your future.
It's like I'm watching these videos with Elon Musk on the loop, and I keep with him that are kind of like rotational. I don't know. I think just his voice and the way that he talks. I just like to have it on the background sometimes. It's just yeah. What are we gonna do with all these? Guest call with me about DIDs. Fabo is one of the humans I've met in a DID startup that develop a relationship with. It's good bridging. That will emerge out of all of these players, and that will be universal. That's it. And that's how it is, and nothing much more. control our identity. Want to be able to use because we will be smarter. That is mine. And if you want to work with me, you know where to reach me. One type of experience. Do you want to sing more? Look, when I sing, I obviously mean it. Breathe.